Hey, are you serious right now? I shouted, my voice trembling more than I wanted to admit. Elena didn't flinch. She leaned back on the sofa, crossing her legs like she'd been expecting this. What are you talking about? She asked, her tone annoyingly calm. You know exactly what I'm talking about, I spat, holding the text on my phone like it was a loaded gun. Marc. You've been meeting him behind my back. 3 months. 3 months of lying. Her laugh, soft and almost dismissive, hit me like a punch. I don't know what you mean. I slammed the phone down on the coffee table. Don't play games with me. I saw the messages. The ones where you call him special. You said I'd never notice. Elena's eyes flickered, then she looked away, pretending to fix her nails. Oh, that. I thought you'd understand. Understand? I echoed, my chest tight. Understand that my so-called best friend is the only one you can confide in. That the woman I trusted more than anyone is sneaking around behind my back. She shrugged. You always expect too much. You've never really changed, have you? The word stung, but it wasn't the first time she had said it. She'd been dropping those little comments for years, little reminders that I was still the same guy who screwed up every chance he got. But this was different. This was betrayal. I backed away, pacing. So all those nights you told me you loved me, were lies. They were complicated, she said, rolling her eyes. Maybe if you, I don't know, grew up, you'd understand. I stopped dead. You're blaming me. I cut myself off. My hands shook. You and Marc. How long has this been going on? A while, she admitted finally, her voice softer, almost like she felt guilty. I didn't mean for you to find out this way. Didn't mean for me to find out. Elena, this isn't a text about dinner plans. My voice cracked. This is my life. My trust. She tilted her head, looking almost bored. You take things too seriously. Maybe it's time you learned a lesson. You'll never change, and maybe I can't wait anymore. I felt like I was suffocating. You think you're helping me? By stabbing me in the back. Call it whatever you want, she said, standing and walking toward the kitchen. I'm happy. Isn't that enough? I froze, staring at her retreating back. The betrayal was a living thing, twisting in my chest. Happy? I muttered. You call this happy? There was silence, and I realized it was the kind of silence that could swallow me whole. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make the world understand the storm inside me. Then my phone buzzed again. I looked down, it was Marc. Did you see the news? The text said. I swallowed, my stomach dropping. He wasn't worried about being caught. He was excited. Complicit. I called him. Marc. You son of a. Whoa, calm down, he said quickly. I can explain. Explain what? That you betrayed me. That my girlfriend, was meeting you behind my back. I didn't think it would go this far. Elena, she made the first move. She made the first move. I repeated incredulously. You're my friend. You're supposed to, my voice broke. You're supposed to protect me. I know, he said quietly, and for a second, I could hear regret. I messed up. I didn't mean for it to hurt you like this. Not mean to hurt me. I laughed bitterly. Do you even know what that means? You've been living a lie in my house, in my life, while I stopped. I couldn't finish. The world felt like it had tilted, spinning, everything I knew gone. Elena came back into the room, leaning against the doorway. Why are you talking to him? She asked. I looked at her, rage and disbelief colliding. Because he's your partner in crime. That makes him part of this mess too. She smiled, cold and unapologetic. Oh, poor baby. Always thinking life's unfair to you. Maybe it's finally fair now. I wanted to scream. I wanted to beg. I wanted to disappear and take the pain with me. Instead, I sank onto the sofa, my hands gripping my knees. I trusted you, I whispered, more to myself than anyone else. And now? Elena asked, tilting her head like she expected an answer. And now, I said slowly, feeling something harden inside me, I don't know who I am anymore. But I do know one thing, I'm not going to be the same weak fool you think I am. Not anymore. She laughed softly, turning away. We'll see about that. I stayed there, chest heaving, staring at the phone, at the messages, at the pieces of my life scattered on the floor. Everything I thought I knew had been a lie. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying, and exhilarating, my life had changed forever. I clenched my fists. I'll show you, I whispered. I'll show both of you. I'll change. And when I do, you'll regret ever underestimating me. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Elena laughing with Marc, her hand brushing his, her eyes, not mine. I muttered to myself, pacing my small apartment. How could I be so blind? My phone buzzed. It was Marc. I stared at it like it might explode. I pressed call. Hello. His voice sounded normal, like nothing had happened. Marc, what the hell were you thinking? I snapped. Did you even consider what you were doing to me? I didn't mean for it to go this far, he said quickly. I didn't think. Didn't think. I interrupted. You didn't think about me at all. You're supposed to be my friend. My best friend. And you let her, my throat tightened. You let her. Look, I know I screwed up. I'm sorry, he said, sighing. I thought it was just, a mistake, something temporary. I didn't know it would hurt you like this. I laughed, bitter and hollow. A mistake. Marc, this isn't a broken phone or a spilled drink. This is my life. My trust. My everything. I get it, he said quietly. I really do. I'm sorry, okay? I can't take it back, but I didn't mean to ruin things. Ruin things? I repeated. You destroyed them. I ran my hands through my hair, feeling like my brain was collapsing. Do you even understand what betrayal feels like? Do you? I can't even imagine, man, he admitted. I wish I could. I really do. I was an idiot. An idiot? I whispered, almost laughing through the pain. An idiot? Marc, you weren't an idiot. You were my friend. And friends don't do this. Maybe not, he said softly. But I did. I don't know how to fix it. I'm sorry. I hope someday you can forgive me. I hung up before I could say anything else, my chest tight, my vision blurred. I sank onto the couch, gripping my phone like it held the answers. But it didn't. Nothing could. The next day at work, I forced myself into the office, pretending I was fine. But my mind kept spinning, turning over every smile, every touch, every word Elena had said. I felt hollow, humiliated, powerless. Hey, a soft voice interrupted my thoughts. I looked up to see Sara, a coworker I'd often chatted with about casual things. She tilted her head, concern in her eyes. Are you okay? You look off. I shook my head. Off? Yeah, you could say that. She pulled up a chair. Talk to me. You don't have to explain everything, but, you seem like you're carrying a lot. I hesitated. It's complicated. Personal stuff. Nothing you need to worry about. Sara smiled gently. Sometimes talking makes it less heavy. I promise I won't judge. I swallowed, my throat tight. It's Elena. And Marc. They betrayed me. Sara frowned. Betrayed? How? They were, together. Behind my back. 4 months. I found out yesterday. I stopped. The words caught in my throat. I couldn't fully explain the whirlwind of anger, shame, and heartbreak. Sara reached over and lightly touched my arm. I'm sorry, she said softly. I can't imagine how that feels. But, you deserve better than people who treat you like that. Her words hit me harder than anything Marc had said. Better. I don't even know if I can be better. Or if I even want to be right now, I muttered. Maybe it's not about wanting to be better, she said, tilting her head. Maybe it's about realizing that you can be. That you don't have to stay trapped in what they did to you. I stared at her, the weight of my despair making her words echo in my mind. I feel powerless, I admitted. Like I've lost control over my life. You haven't, she said firmly. You're still here. You're still you. And the fact that you're upset, that you feel this, it means you care. But caring doesn't mean letting them define you. You can take it back. I looked down at my hands, trembling. I don't even know where to start. Sara leaned back, smiling faintly. Start small. 1 step. 1 choice. You're stronger than you think. And I'll help if you want. Her words planted a seed I hadn't felt in a long time. Maybe I could take control. Maybe I didn't have to stay broken. But as I left work that evening, the weight of betrayal still clung to me. I muttered under my breath, more to myself than anyone else, I won't let this define me. Not them. Not now. I'll find a way back, somehow. And for the first time since yesterday, I felt a flicker of something dangerous and powerful, determination. I forced myself out of bed that morning like my body was full of lead. Work, errands, anything to keep my mind off Elena and Marc. But every step felt hollow. At the office, I greeted coworkers with a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Morning, I said, dragging myself past the cubicles. Hey, you okay? Sara asked, noticing my stiff expression. I'm fine, I lied, gripping my coffee like it could anchor me. Just, tired. She raised an eyebrow but didn't press. I wandered to my desk, scanning emails I barely understood. Every notification made me flinch. Every message felt like a reminder that life had moved on, and I was still stuck. Later, in the break room, Liam, a senior colleague, approached. You look like hell, he said bluntly. I feel like it, I admitted. Sleep doesn't help. Nothing helps. He leaned against the counter. What's eating you? I hesitated, then muttered, Elena. Marc. They betrayed me. Liam frowned. Betrayal's heavy. But you can't let it control you forever. I can't see past it, I admitted. I feel weak. You're not weak, he said sharply. You're distracted. That's different. But you're letting their choices define your life. I stared at him, wondering if anyone really understood. Maybe I've always let people define me. I rely too much on approval, on being liked, on not disappointing people. Then start noticing that, Liam said, walking away. Pay attention to yourself for a change. I sat there, the words echoing. He was right. I had ignored my own flaws while blaming them for my pain. That evening, I ran into Elena outside a cafe. My stomach dropped. Elena, I said, voice tight. She turned, smiling faintly. Oh, hey. I struggled to keep my emotions in check. We need to talk. About what? she asked, tilting her head. I've moved on. I hope you have too. I laughed bitterly. Moved on. That's rich. You think it's that easy? I don't know why you're so upset, she said lightly. I told you what you were, stubborn, immature, always making excuses. Some things never change. I clenched my fists, feeling a spark inside me. You think I haven't noticed? You think I haven't seen myself? I have, Elena. I see my mistakes. But I'm not the same person who let you walk over me. She smirked. Oh really? Prove it. Show me you've changed. Or is this just talk? I wanted to yell, to argue, to beg for recognition. Instead, I looked at her calmly, letting the simmering anger grow inside me. I don't need your approval, I said. And one day, you'll see I don't need you either. She shrugged, unconcerned. We'll see. Then she walked away, leaving me standing in the cold, the words she'd thrown like daggers still slicing inside me. That night, I sat on my couch, thinking. I had been pretending, smiling at coworkers, nodding at Sara, making small talk. But inside, I was still broken. And yet, that spark of anger, it wasn't just fury. It was awareness. I realized I had wasted so much time on others, on needing them to validate me. I had ignored the things I hated about myself, my laziness, my constant seeking of approval, my inability to act. I muttered to myself, pacing the room. I can't keep living like this. I won't. The next day, I signed up for a gym membership. I started waking up earlier, forcing myself to focus on work without distractions. At lunch, Sara noticed my determination. You look different today, she said, smiling. Different good or different bad? I asked, forcing a small grin. Different good, she said. I think you're starting to find yourself again. I nodded, though inside, I felt the fire growing. It wasn't about revenge yet. Not today. It was about proving to myself that I could be more than the person Elena thought I was. More than the man who let betrayal destroy him. I caught a glimpse of myself in the office window later that afternoon. I didn't recognize the tired, anxious man staring back. There was still pain, yes, but also focus, determination. Something I hadn't seen in years, something that felt like power. And I whispered to my reflection, almost defiantly, you'll see. I'll change. And when I do, they won't recognize me at all. The day ended with me walking home alone, cold air stinging my face, but I didn't feel broken. I felt awake. For the first time since the betrayal, I didn't feel like a victim. I felt like a man beginning to reclaim himself. I muttered under my breath, more to the night than anyone else, not for revenge. Not yet. Just, for me. And for the first time in months, I slept without dreaming of Elena or Marc. I slept with the thought that I could be more, stronger, smarter, better. And that thought alone was enough to keep the fire inside me burning. I woke up early, the sun barely peeking through my blinds. For the first time in weeks, I didn't hit snooze. I pulled on my sneakers and muttered to myself, time to stop pretending. At the gym, I grunted through my first set of push-ups, ignoring the burn. A voice called out. Not bad. I looked up to see Liam, the senior colleague I'd met at work. You again, I said, wiping sweat from my forehead. You look serious, he said, arms crossed. Good. You need discipline if you want to change anything. I'm done being weak, I said, feeling the words burn in my chest. Done letting people walk over me. Good, he said, nodding. But remember, strength isn't just physical. Mind, emotions, strategy, that's where most people fail. I know, I muttered. I felt powerless enough to last a lifetime. He smiled slightly. Then let's fix that. Start with routine. Structure. Focus. If you commit, change happens. Later that day at work, Sara noticed me reviewing spreadsheets with unusual concentration. "Wow," she said, leaning over my desk. "You're actually working." "Yeah," I said without looking up. "No distractions. No excuses. Just progress." She smiled softly. "It suits you. I'm glad to see you like this." "I'm glad too," I admitted, pausing. "I don't want to feel helpless anymore. I don't want them controlling my thoughts." Sara tilted her head. "Then take it step by step. You're stronger than you think. And I'll be here if you need someone to remind you." "Thanks," I said, feeling a flicker of warmth I hadn't felt in months. That evening, Liam called. "Meet me at the cafe near your place. I want to talk strategy." I frowned. "Strategy? About what?" "About life," he said with a grin. "About taking control. About turning your anger into results instead of regret." At the cafe, he sipped coffee and studied me. "You've got energy," he said. "Good energy. But passion without direction is wasted." "I know," I said. "I've wasted too much already. I can't let them win. Not Elena. Not Marc. Not anyone." "You won't," Liam said. "But here's the thing, you can't just react. You need a plan. Social skills, career moves, networking, emotional intelligence. That's how people like them get left behind." I nodded slowly. "So it's not just about showing them. It's about becoming untouchable." "Exactly," he said, leaning back. "You'll feel stronger inside first. The rest follows naturally. People respect strength they can't manipulate." I clenched my fists. "Then teach me. I'll do whatever it takes." Sara noticed the change too. One afternoon, I told her, I started journaling. Tracking habits. Running 3 miles a day. Reading. Planning. Her eyes widened. "Wow. You're really committed." "That's amazing." "I have to be," I admitted. "If I keep feeling sorry for myself, it'll never end. I want to prove, first to myself, then to them, that I'm not the same person anymore." "You're already proving it," she said softly. "But you're right, doing it for yourself first is the only way it lasts." I grinned faintly. "Then I'll do it. Every day. Every hour if I have to. And one day, they'll see it too." Liam pulled me aside another evening. "Remember, transformation isn't linear," he said. "You'll have bad days. You'll stumble. But each day you keep moving forward, you get stronger. And when they see you, it won't be about revenge. It'll be about respect. From them, and more importantly, from yourself." "I get it," I said. "It's not about them. It's about me. Becoming the man I should have been all along." "Yes," he said. "That's exactly it. Focus. Discipline. Patience. And use your mistakes as fuel, not chains." I nodded, feeling a spark inside me grow into something more tangible. Fire. Determination. Hope. Sara texted later that night, "How's the new you?" I smirked. "Better than yesterday. Step by step." And I meant it. Every push-up, every early morning, every conversation with Liam or Sara, every small improvement, it was proof. Proof that I could control my life again. Proof that betrayal didn't have to define me. I muttered under my breath as I laid out my schedule for the week, one day at a time. And soon, they won't recognize me. For the first time in months, I went to sleep not haunted by Elena or Marc, but with a plan. A path forward. A fire in my chest that wasn't anger anymore, it was something stronger. Something unstoppable. I was walking home from the gym, earbuds in, lost in my own thoughts, when I saw her. Elena. Sitting on the curb outside a cafe, head in her hands, tears streaking her face. My stomach twisted. I stopped, frozen. Part of me wanted to turn away, ignore her. Another part. I don't know. Curiosity. Pity. Something I hadn't felt in months. I approached cautiously. Elena? I called softly. She lifted her head, red-eyed, startled. Oh, it's you, she said, voice small, unsure. What happened? I asked, stopping a few feet away. Are you okay? I don't know, she admitted, her voice cracking. Marc, he's gone. Just left. And, everything's falling apart. I felt a strange mix of emotions, resentment, sadness, and something like lingering affection. I see, I said quietly. You don't care? She asked, looking up at me, desperate for an answer I couldn't give yet. I care that people are suffering, I said carefully. But not like I used to care about you. Not the same way. Her eyes filled with tears again. I never thought it would end like this. I thought I could have it all. And now? I asked. Now? I don't know. I've lost him. I've lost everything I thought mattered. I swallowed hard. A part of me wanted to comfort her. Another part reminded me of the pain she caused. Life has a way of balancing itself, I said softly, more to myself than her. She looked at me, a flicker of hope in her gaze. You always seemed so strong. How do you handle things? I hesitated. I don't always. But I'm learning. One step at a time. You're different, she said, almost whispering. Not like the person I knew. I shrugged, trying to mask the fire inside me. People change. And some lessons, they have to be learned the hard way. Her hands trembled. Do you forgive me? I paused, feeling the old tug of love and resentment. I don't know if forgiveness is for you. Or for me, I admitted. Right now. I'm just focused on not letting anyone control my life again. Including you. She looked down, nodding slowly. I get that. I guess I deserved this. You did, I said, firm but not cruel. And that's the point. Actions have consequences. She wiped her face, standing shakily. I hope you're happy. Truly. I will be, I said, the words tasting like steel. And you'll have to find your own way. She hesitated, then turned and walked away, leaving me standing there. I felt an unexpected pang, a mix of loss and relief. Part of me missed her. Part of me knew I could never go back. Later that night, I sat on my balcony, thinking. Watching her struggle stirred conflicting feelings. I couldn't deny a part of me still cared. But it was tangled with anger, with pride, with the desire to be untouchable. Sara called. Hey, how's it going? I told her, I saw Elena today. She's falling apart. Marc left her, and she's paying for her choices. You okay? She asked softly. Seeing that? I don't know, I admitted. Part of me feels sorry. Part of me feels satisfied. I hate that I feel satisfaction, even a little. That's normal, she said. You're human. Just don't let it consume you. You're not her. You're you. I know, I said. It brings up all the old feelings. The love, the betrayal, everything. And I feel like I have to plan now. Not for revenge, not to hurt anyone, but to make sure I'm untouchable. Emotionally. Socially. All of it. Sara's voice was calm. Then do it. Carefully. Thoughtfully. Build yourself so strong they can't even reach you. That's better than any revenge you could take. I nodded, staring out at the city lights. Yeah. That's what I need. Strength. Control. And distance from the past. Exactly, she said. You've got this. I'll help if you need it. I smiled faintly, feeling a spark of determination. Thanks, Sara. I think I can do this. I will do this. I hung up and looked at my reflection in the balcony glass. The man staring back at me wasn't the same one who had stumbled through heartbreak weeks ago. He was sharper, more focused, aware of weaknesses but refusing to be defined by them. I whispered to myself, almost defiantly, I'll build my life so they can't touch it. Not Elena. Not Marc. No one. And when they see me, it won't be anger. It'll be respect. From them, or nothing at all. The night air felt sharp, cleansing. I clenched my fists, the fire inside me growing. Conflicting emotions swirled, pity, love, anger, but I let them fuel me instead of weighing me down. I muttered under my breath, one step at a time. And soon, they'll understand that the man they betrayed isn't the man I'll become. My phone buzzed while I was reviewing a project proposal. The name on the screen made my chest tighten, Elena. I stared at it, thumb hovering over the answer button. Part of me wanted to throw the phone across the room. Another part, curiosity. Old habits die hard. I took a deep breath and answered. Hello. Hey, it's me, she said, voice hesitant, almost fragile. I need to talk. I've made mistakes. I shouldn't have. I cut her off calmly, holding my ground. Elena, I'm not the same person you left behind. I've moved forward. You should focus on your own path. There was a pause on the line. I regret everything. I never meant to hurt you like that. I've heard enough apologies, I said evenly. Words don't fix actions. You had your chance to respect me. You lost it. Her voice wavered. I just wanted to explain. Maybe we can talk. I'm not looking for closure from you, I interrupted, keeping my tone measured. I found mine elsewhere. And it's not with you. There was silence. Then a soft, almost defeated, I see. I hope you understand, I said. This isn't bitterness. It's growth. I've realized I don't need approval from people who don't value me. The line went quiet. Finally, she whispered, I guess I do understand. I hung up and felt a strange calm settle over me. My hands didn't shake. My chest wasn't tight. For the first time, I felt free of the pull she'd held over me. The next week, I threw myself into my work. I started attending professional networking events I'd once ignored, mingling with people who mattered in my field. Hey, a new colleague greeted me at a conference, shaking my hand. I've heard about your recent project. Impressive work. Thanks, I said, smiling. It's been a team effort, but I'm glad it's getting noticed. Sara nudged me later. See? People respect you now. You're not the same person who used to shy away or take criticism too personally. I feel it, I admitted. And it's empowering. I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm untouchable. The next evening, I ran into a small group of socialites I used to avoid, people Elena had once mocked me around. They greeted me warmly, clearly impressed by my growing reputation. I didn't know you were into this circle, one said, smiling. I'm learning, I replied. Better late than never. Sara leaned in, whispering, notice anything? I glanced around. Elena's presence was absent. The people who used to follow her lead were now recognizing me. I realized the tables had quietly turned. A week later, I bumped into Elena again, this time at a mutual acquaintance's party. She approached, confidence plastered over uncertainty. "Hi," she said smoothly. I didn't expect to see you here." "I'm here for myself," I said firmly. "Not for anyone else." She tilted her head, trying to mask her discomfort. "You've changed. Different from before." "I've grown," I said, letting the words land. "And I'm focused on my life. I'm not defined by the past, or by you." She laughed lightly, but it sounded forced. I thought you'd be devastated by everything. Broken. You're not. I'm stronger than I've ever been," I said. "And that's not about revenge. It's about me. About reclaiming my life." Her eyes narrowed slightly. You're proud of yourself, aren't you?" "I am," I said, calmly. "Proud, not bitter. And I don't need you to validate that." She hesitated, scanning the room, realizing many people were now seeing me differently. Subtle whispers, glances, they all reflected recognition, respect. A twinge of arrogance left her isolated. I noticed friends and acquaintances she had leaned on before now gravitating toward me. Sara leaned over. "See what I mean? Growth is silent but loud enough for the right people to notice." I smiled faintly, feeling a deep, quiet triumph. "It's satisfying," I admitted. "Not because she's suffering. But because I'm rising. And it's undeniable." Liam called later that night. "How did it go?" "Better than expected," I said. "I maintained distance with Elena. No drama. And socially, people are noticing my progress." "Exactly," he said. "Strength speaks louder than anger. Strategy beats emotion. You're learning what I've been telling you." "I can feel it," I said, a thrill running through me. "I'm not reacting anymore. I'm leading my own life. And nothing she or Marc does can touch that." "Good," he said. "Now keep building. Every step, every interaction, every decision is part of the path. The best revenge isn't what you do to them. It's the man you become because of them." I sat back, thinking about the past weeks. From heartbreak to betrayal, to growth and focus, I was finally in control. My emotions no longer dictated my actions. My strength wasn't just physical or social, it was internal. Unshakable. I whispered to myself, almost like a mantra, "I've changed. And the world sees it now. Not because I want revenge, but because I've earned my place. I'm untouchable." The fire inside me wasn't anger anymore. It was power. Determination. A calm certainty that no one could manipulate me again. And in that moment, I realized the truth: my life wasn't defined by their mistakes, it was defined by how I chose to rise above them. I saw the news headline before anyone else mentioned it: Elena's promotion had been revoked. Her name, once spoken with admiration, now carried whispers of incompetence and betrayal. I didn't feel joy, just a quiet acknowledgement. Life had a way of balancing itself. Later that afternoon, I ran into Sara at a cafe. "Did you hear about Elena?" she asked, eyes wide. "Yeah," I said, sipping my coffee. "I didn't expect to feel anything. And yet, it feels like a closing of a chapter." Sara nodded. "It's strange, isn't it? Seeing someone face consequences without celebrating it." "Exactly," I said. "It's not about gloating. It's about noticing justice unfolding naturally. She made choices, and now she's facing them." "Do you regret anything?" she asked gently. I shook my head. "No. I regret nothing. I only regret the time I wasted worrying about her opinions, letting her control me. That's over now." Sara smiled. "I'm glad you see it that way, Anne." I'm glad I could be here for you. You've been more than that, I admitted. You've reminded me that support isn't manipulation. That friendship can be strength, not weakness. Her fingers brushed mine lightly. I'm happy I could help. But you did the hard work. I just guided you a little. I leaned back, watching people pass outside the window. And yet, seeing Elena falter, it's a lesson, too. That arrogance, selfishness, it isolates you. Marc's not faring any better. He's been struggling to keep clients, his reputation slipping quietly. I hear whispers, just like with her. Sara nodded slowly. That's karma, then. Silent, but effective. Silent, yes, I agreed. No need to intervene. No need to act. Life corrects itself when you're patient enough to step aside. She reached for my hand. And you? You're thriving. People see it. I see it. It's satisfying to watch someone rise honestly after such betrayal. I looked at her and smiled faintly. Satisfying doesn't even cover it. It's like watching a storm settle, leaving the sky clearer than before. No one is humiliated by me, I'm just observing. You've really changed, she said softly. The man who used to stumble over others' actions, he's gone. I'm still here, I said, but stronger. Smarter. And quieter about it. Power doesn't need an audience. Sara laughed lightly. I think that's the most dangerous part. Quiet strength is the hardest to challenge. I nodded, feeling the truth in her words. And it's freeing. I'm no longer chained to anger or obsession. I've built a life I control. A life where betrayal can't hurt me anymore. The following week, I attended a networking event I'd once avoided. Elena was there, dressed sharply, trying to command attention, but the whispers followed her like shadows. People who used to admire her now kept distance. I didn't gloat. I simply nodded politely as she passed, acknowledging her presence without engagement. Later, Sara caught up to me. You handled that beautifully, she said, smiling. Calm, composed, untouchable. That's the goal, I said quietly. Not revenge. Not validation. Just presence. People notice when someone owns themselves instead of reacting. And you do, she said. Completely. I exhaled slowly, a sense of balance washing over me. It's strange, seeing them struggle without intervening. I expected resentment. Anger. But it's just life playing out as it should. I feel lighter than I have in years. Sara leaned closer. That's what it means to rise above. You're free of the past, and you're building a future without dragging anyone else down. I smiled at her, warmth spreading. And that's the real victory. Not seeing Elena or Marc fail. Not proving them wrong. But knowing I've reclaimed myself. She squeezed my hand. You've earned it. And I'm proud of you. I shook my head, smiling faintly. Proud of me, yes. But I didn't do it for pride. I did it because I refused to stay broken. Because I wanted a life that couldn't be shaken by their choices. Sara nodded. And now you have it. We stood together, watching the city lights flicker. I thought about the weeks of transformation, the early mornings, the gym, the professional growth, the quiet self-reflection. Every step had led to this moment. And even though Elena's arrogance had caused her isolation, even though Marc struggled silently, I felt no pleasure in their pain. I only felt satisfaction in knowing that fairness, quiet and unavoidable, existed without my interference. You've become someone extraordinary, Sara said, voice soft but firm. I looked at her, meeting her eyes. I've become someone untouchable. Not because I'm stronger than them, but because I've finally found strength in myself. Her smile was gentle, a mirror to the calm I now carried inside. Then maybe this is exactly what you were meant to become. I nodded, feeling the weight of the past lift. It is. And I'll keep moving forward. No distractions, no grudges. Just, me. My life. My growth. We walked out together, side by side, and I felt a rare peace. No one could touch me emotionally anymore, not Elena, not Marc. Life had done its work. Karma had whispered its justice. And all I had to do was live, steadily, confidently, and free. I walked into the conference room, my suit crisp, my posture straight, and a calm certainty in my chest that I had never felt before. The room hummed with chatter, people mingling, introductions being made, but I moved with purpose, nodding, shaking hands, and exchanging smiles that reflected confidence, not insecurity. "Good to see you here," Liam said, stepping beside me. "You've come a long way." "I've worked for it," I said, glancing around. Every morning, every decision, every moment added up. He smiled knowingly. "And now? You're untouchable. Not in arrogance, but in presence. People respect you because you've earned it." "Exactly," I said, feeling that fire, the calm power, the awareness of control. "I'm not reacting to anyone anymore. I'm leading my own life." Sara joined us, carrying a coffee for me. "You look different," she said softly, smiling. "The man I see now isn't the one I met months ago." "I've shed a lot," I said, taking the coffee. "And gained a lot. Stability, confidence, independence. Emotional independence, mostly." She nodded, sipping her own drink. "It suits you. I'm proud of you." "Not proud," I said. "Grateful. And focused. That's the difference." I moved through the room, making connections, and noticed a familiar face near the balcony. Elena. My chest tightened for a moment, but only for a moment. She approached, a hesitant smile on her face. "Hi," she said, voice calm but with a hint of nervousness. "It's been a while." I regarded her carefully. "It has. I wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. I held up a hand. "I'm not here to relive the past, Elena. I've moved on." She faltered, taken aback. "Moved on? After everything?" "I have," I said, my voice steady. "I'm not the same person you left behind. I've grown, I've built a life that doesn't revolve around you or Marc. And I won't let anyone disrupt it." Her eyes widened slightly, scanning me as if trying to find a trace of the old me. I thought maybe. "You thought wrong," I said calmly. "I don't need your approval. I don't need closure. I don't need anything from you." She swallowed, embarrassed. I never realized." "You didn't," I said softly. "And that's the point. I've reclaimed myself. You, Marc, it's irrelevant to who I've become." Her lips parted, but no words came. She looked around, perhaps noticing the subtle respect I had earned from others in the room. I wasn't just untouchable emotionally, I was recognized socially and professionally. Sara squeezed my hand lightly. "You're incredible," she whispered. "Not incredible," I said. "Present. Focused. Free. That's the difference." Elena's shoulders slumped slightly. I guess I underestimated you. I thought my absence, my choices, would still haunt you." "They don't," I said firmly. "They shaped me. That's different. Pain taught me, betrayal sharpened me, and I chose to rise. Not to hurt anyone, but to protect myself. And I did." She nodded slowly, a quiet acknowledgement. "I see that now. You've changed, completely." "I have," I said. "And this isn't about proving you wrong. This is about proving to myself that I matter more than your opinions or your decisions. She looked away, defeated, as if accepting her own mistakes had come too late. And I felt nothing but peace. No lingering resentment, no sparks of old love. Just clarity, and quiet satisfaction that life had corrected itself without my intervention. Later, Sara and I walked outside, the night air crisp. "You handled that perfectly," she said. "Composed, firm, untouchable." "I am untouchable," I admitted. "And it feels liberating. Not arrogance. Not vengeance. Just freedom." "Do you ever think about Marc?" she asked quietly. "Sometimes," I said. "He's struggling too. But it's not my problem. I learned that long ago. Karma isn't mine to deliver. Life balances itself." She nodded. "And you've become someone strong, genuine, and grounded. I admire that." "I couldn't have done it without guidance," I said, glancing at the distant lights. "Liam's wisdom, your support, they've been crucial. But the work? All mine." "I'm glad I was here," she said softly. I smiled faintly, feeling the weight of months of struggle finally settle. "I've embraced my pain. Learned from it. And built a life where I'm the center, not them. I don't define myself by betrayal or past relationships anymore. I define myself by who I've become." Sara's eyes glistened. "And who's that?" I exhaled slowly, savoring the truth. "Someone unstoppable. Emotionally, socially, professionally. Someone who won't let anyone, past or present, disturb my life again." The city lights reflected on the glass buildings, glittering like a promise. I had faced heartbreak, betrayal, and moral dilemmas. I had stumbled, faltered, and grown. And now, here I stood, financially stable, confident, and emotionally independent. I whispered to myself, almost reverently, "I am my own person. No one can control me. No one can manipulate me. No one can touch me." And for the first time in my life, I truly meant it. I looked at Sara, then at the night sky, and smiled. "I'm free. And I've earned every bit of it. The past didn't define me. Elena's regret didn't control me. Marc's fall didn't weaken me. The fire of my own transformation, nurtured with discipline, wisdom, and genuine support, had made me unreachable. And in that unreachable state, I felt the deepest peace I had ever known. I sit at my desk, the city light streaming through the window, and I think about everything: the heartbreak, the betrayal, the nights I couldn't sleep, the mornings I forced myself out of bed. It all led me here, to a life I finally control. Sara knocks softly and steps in. "Mind if I join you?" "Of course," I say, gesturing to the chair. "I was just reflecting." "You've earned that," she says, sitting down. "Everything you've been through, and look at you now." I smile faintly. It's strange. For so long, I thought I was defined by what others did to me. By Elena, by Marc, by mistakes I made. But now, I pause, searching for the words. Now I see, it's all fuel. Every betrayal, every disappointment, they became bricks. I used them to build myself. Sara nods. And the fire that once burned for anger, it turned into something constructive. Exactly, I say. I'm not saying the pain was easy. Far from it. Some days, I wanted to lash out, to fight, to make them regret. But every time I chose patience, reflection, discipline, I gained more than I ever would have from revenge. You've grown, she says simply. Stronger, calmer, untouchable. I chuckle softly. Untouchable. I like that word. Not because I can hurt them or make them fail, but because I've reached a place where nothing can shake me. Not betrayal. Not judgment. Not manipulation. She studies me for a moment. Do you ever miss the old life? I shake my head slowly. No. The old life. I see it as a shadow now. A part of me, yes, but one I no longer follow. I was lost in it for a while, but now I lead myself. Sara smiles, a quiet warmth in her eyes. And you're not alone. You've built this life with real connections. People who care. I nod. That's another lesson. I wasted so much energy seeking approval from people who didn't deserve it. Now I surround myself with those who actually matter. She leans forward. Including me? Definitely including you, I say, smiling. You reminded me that support is strength, not manipulation. That friendship can anchor you when the world tries to pull you under. Sara laughs softly. Glad I could help. I pick up my notebook, flipping through pages filled with plans, reflections, and reminders of growth. I've written a lot during this journey, I say. Letters I'll never send, thoughts I needed to capture, everything to understand myself better. What's the biggest realization, she asks. That life doesn't give second chances the way we wish it would. People make choices, and those choices have consequences, I say. But more importantly, it's how you respond that defines you. How you face pain, betrayal, and setbacks, it's all a reflection of who you really are. Sara nods. And you've faced it head-on. I have, I say. And it feels liberating. Not because I conquered someone else, but because I conquered the old version of myself, the one who let others control him. The one who let fear and doubt dictate his actions. She tilts her head. Do you regret anything? Only that I didn't start sooner, I admit. But regret is useless if it doesn't teach you something. And now I've learned more than I ever imagined. I close the notebook, resting my hands on it. The truth is, betrayal isn't about them. It's about you. It's a mirror. It shows weaknesses, insecurities, and blind spots. But it also shows the path to strength, if you choose to take it. Sara reaches over, squeezing my hand. And you did. You took it. I smile, feeling a quiet warmth spread through me. I did. And I continue to. Every day is a chance to reinforce who I've become, to live without the chains of the past. She leans back, her eyes scanning the city skyline. It's beautiful, seeing someone who's truly free. It is, I say, looking out myself. And I think that's what matters most. Freedom from the past. Freedom from judgment. Freedom from the people who once tried to control me. Sara glances at me. So, what's next? I think for a moment. Next, is continuing. Growth, focus, life built on my terms. Not defined by betrayal, not bound by regret. I'll live intentionally, and I'll measure success by my own standards. She smiles. And by that measure, you're already incredible. I nod, feeling the truth of it. The journey wasn't easy. It hurt. I fell. I doubted myself. But I rose. And now. I'm unstoppable. Emotionally, mentally, socially. I'm finally, me. Sara stands, glancing around. Then here's to the man you've become. I raise my coffee in a quiet toast. To growth. To freedom. To life lived on my own terms. We sit together in comfortable silence, the city alive around us. For the first time, I feel fully whole. No old shadows, no regrets, no lingering pain. Just clarity, strength, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing that I survived, I learned, and I conquered myself. And that is worth everything.